Good evening, everybody. It's me, Yankee Wally. How are you? Right. Now, before I do anything else, there was a lady in the comments, I think your name is Lisa, and she was interested in knowing the value of the rich mineral resources, the rich earth in Ukraine. I thought that was an excellent question. And I said to her, I'll get back to you in 48 hours. I'll check it out. Well, this is my first video since, so I can tell you it's quite a lot. It's 150 trillion money's worth. And if you have a look at that graph, you can pause it and blow it up. There's quite a lot of, the titanium, uranium, lithium, which is so important for the modern batteries these days. You know, the ones that are in all our phones and that last longer than the old lead oxide ones. So you need lithium, beryllium, iron, manganese, and graphite. Graphite is what they make pencils out of. Iron, well, there's iron in a lot of places, but I think the rarest ones that are the most valuable is lithium, uranium and titanium, because their reserves are classified. But if you look at the yellow splodges on the Ukrainian map, that's titanium. Now, titanium is lighter than aluminium and stronger than steel. If you ever have a plate put in your leg or your arm, that's made out of titanium. I know that because I had one put into my arm. And I think they used to make false knees out of it, but I think they use some sort of silicone nylon now. But still valuable mineral. Uranium, I'm not sure what they use that for. But that's about it. But 150 trillion, I can't remember how much that is in terms of... Do you know, we don't even talk in millions now, do we? We talk in billions and trillions. So a billion is 100 million? Or is it 1,000? I got no idea. Anyway, it gives you some idea. I think is something that's well worth using as a bargaining chip. I think that Mr. Trump is extremely clever, and I think that he's going to get it because these sort of minerals will bring... You've got gas and coal, I know, because he said so, a lot of it, but that's not going to power your A1s and your phones and things. So you need these minerals. They're very rare. Look at our share of global production, all under 10%. All of those minerals, there's less than 10% in the world. Well, so it's 15 trillion. God, I'm trying to think how many notes. Next one is, that I want to say, is... Again, I did apologise on my last video about feeling sorry for old Zelensky. I did feel sorry for him because I thought what I thought. But again, you bide your time, and the truth is always coming out. And for somebody to, I think he called him a bitch whore or something. Terrible, terrible. But again, you see, old Zelensky hasn't got any grace and decorum. It's a bit like the immigrants that come in from, I don't know where, Nigeria, Syria. They've been brought up to grab things and to steal things and to marry 13-year-olds. It's terrible, but they don't know any bloody different. And again, apart from, I think, Poland... or I shouldn't say that, there's far more than that. The further over to the Middle East that you go, the more that people's general manners, decorum, diminishes. And Zelensky, he doesn't understand that wearing a suit means that you respect who you're meeting, and that Oval Office is supposed to be a very special place to be. It's the office. So he did show a lot of disrespect. And I've got another little video that I want you to see. Where is it now? It's quite an important one. Here we are. Now, this man here, who I'm going to show you, was a politician, and Zelensky jailed him for 14 months, and he was a government official or something, because he dared to question something.
Hello, Mr. President Trump. My name is Alexander Dubinsky, and I'm a member of the Ukrainian parliament. I have been in prison for 14 months, for one reason only. I told the truth about the Biden's corruption in Ukraine. In 2019, I was the first to expose how Joe Biden was using Ukraine for his personal financial gain. I exposed how his son, Hunter Biden, got millions of dollars through offshore schemes and Burisma. I spoke as a lawmaker, and I spoke as a patriot of Ukraine. But after Biden won in 2020, Zelensky's government, following Washington crazy orders, opened 4 absolutely stupid and fake criminal cases against me. In November 2023, they put me in prison. No evidence, no trial, no investigation. I was never even asked for testimony. They just want to shut me up and silence my public voice, but they failed. They failed because Biden's corruption is a fact. It's a fact. The American Congress and American court have proven that Hunter Biden received money from Ukrainian officials.
It's 3 minutes and 22 minutes long. I've only given you a minute of that. I found that on X. If you play that back, you'll see his name. You can Google his name and probably hear the rest if you want. Are you shocked? I'm not really shocked. It's quite shocking though, isn't it? Right now, the other thing that I've got to cover, I really got to cover it because it's just got to be done, is Meghan Markle's show with Love Meghan. Oh, I can't even bring myself. I still haven't seen it all. The first time I had to go at it, I fell asleep after episode 1 or 2. And then I went back at it. She's got some annoying habits. And this one, she's trying to look all elevated and joyful and does these little dances with her hands above her head. Like above her head and then this little hop. She's a lousy dancer. She needs a metronome up her ass, but she just can't get it. But she keeps trying. Another thing she's doing in all 8 episodes is sometimes doing a stage whisper like this. So much honey, money, honey. And then she talks like this. And then she tries to make little poems out of things like, honey, do you want some honey? And peas. And she makes little jokes about things that are really not funny. I can't even remember them. They're so not funny. But this was a joke that when Richard III's ghost did, I plated up my takeaway and elevated it. She's telling us to buy a takeaway, a carry-out, whatever you call them, and put it on your best porcelain and dress it up and elevate it. The one reason, if I do get a takeaway, is that I don't have to wash any dishes. That's one of the reasons I think a lot of people have them. Maybe I'll have one bowl if it's a Chinese and plonk a bit in a bowl. But no, I won't mess up a big plate for a takeaway. Fish and chips, I'll eat it out of the paper. It's ridiculous. She tells you how to make ice cubes. And I'll tell you something else I spotted as well, which was rather awful. Now, Prince Charles usually wears a cornflower in his lapel. There's one there, the style of King Charles. He always does it. You've often seen him with a little cornflower. It's a lovely suit he's wearing. There he is again with a blue cornflower. There's a white cornflower. There's a lilac cornflower. There's a white one. There's a sort of a pinky one. There's a dark blue one. He gets them from his Highgrove home. And then there's Meghan. I don't know where she's using exactly the same flowers. In fact, she's picking them. She's picking them off her. I did take a picture. They're on my other phone. Yeah, she's actually using cornflowers to eat. She's selling dried flowers, premium garnishes. I can't believe she's doing this. This is absolutely ridiculous. No preservatives or additives. I think they're a good idea for confetti. I like those because I think they are cherry blossom. I like those. Food grade. But of course she's selling them dried edible. But if they've come in a bottle, look how crushed they are. they look a bit messy. There's a picture of Meghan there when that's her friend Ninaki Pretty. The gentleman in the cream suit, to the right is Ninaki Pretty. Sorry, to the left, and to the right is Meghan Markle. Look at the body language there. Look at it. She's on his shoulder. So she was getting very coquettish at the age of about 13, 14. And that's Ninaki's dad. I bet they cringe when they look at that picture. It's a saucy picture for a girl of her age, isn't it? If my mother had seen me doing, well, I wouldn't have done it. It's no respect there, is there? They took her to Europe on holiday, and that's the way she treats him. Lamb's to the left of me, mutton to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle with you. That's from Jenny, Australia. Oh, and guess what else? It's actually been confirmed now that Jack the Ripper's identity was on Catherine Eddowes' shawl. Do you remember there was a shawl that they said was hers, and they got the DNA on it? And it's been confirmed 100%, and it was, all the time. It was Aaron Kosminski. So there you go. Poland, who worked as a barber. That's what he supposedly looked like. I think that's a generated image. That was him. He was a schizophrenic immigrant from Hungary. No doubt her earnings a portrait of a killer. Oh, he's on about Patricia Cornwell. Yeah, they've got the Eddowes shawl, Catherine Eddowes' shawl. Right, finally now, I'm going to do the Meghan Markle programme when I've plucked up the... Oh, I got to get the inspiration. But I'll tell you, Gene Hackman and his wife, I'm going to call her Betsy Hackman because I can't recall her full name. She's Hawaiian. They found out the cause of death. And it turns out that Betsy had hantavirus syndrome, which is a disease that you pick up from rodents and breathing in the urine. And they did a check in their house and no, nothing more than the normal low threat of rodents. But in the outbuildings, there were evidence of rodents. And of course, Betsy was the more mobile of the two. Now she's picked up hantavirus syndrome. And even though she was out shopping on the 11th of February, she she picked up her dog, and that's why he was in the cage from the vets. She went to get pet food. She went here and went to the pharmacy and picked up a prescription, though they don't quite know what she picked up or whether she asked for help with the symptoms that she would have had from hantavirus syndrome because of the HIPPO laws. Anyway, she came home at about 5 o'clock on the 11th. No activity at all on her emails or anything from the 12th. Nothing on the 12th at all. And she had collapsed in the bathroom. So it's thought that maybe fluid comes on the lungs and things like that, that she died from that. Sadly, really sadly, Gene Hackman did not die until the 17th. So make of that what you will. The medical examiner explained it and pretty much put it very, very nicely. But I think that he had dementia and he had severe heart problems and kidney problems. But the fact remains that he was alive for 6 days. There was no evidence of dehydration, but there was no food in his stomach. But he wasn't dehydrated, which means that he must have drunk water, because 6 days, you can't live for more than 3 days without water, but you can live without food for a lot longer than that. So Gene Hackman was left in the house with dementia, and nobody came around and checked on them. So she died, which led to him dying. He had a pacemaker. It's just very, very, very sad. Ever so sad. But that is what that news was released around about 2 hours ago now. So I may be the first one to tell you. And old Brian Koberger, they've released a load of evidence about, here it all is, of all the evidence that they've got for him. That's the last of that one. And they've even got texts between Dylan and Bethany Funk. There, the text messages from 4:22 to 4:24. Scary, isn't it? Dylan Mortensen. They were texting each other during the murders. See, that came out today as well. And he wants the jury to hear about 2 unidentified male DNA samples, blood on the handrail and the glove outside. I think he's guilty because they're talking about him. And Bethany Funk and Dylan talk about this man dressed in black with eyebrows. Let me just see if I can get you right back to the minute. There, that's the start of it, yeah. But you can look at the text there and the times of them. Run down here, come to my room, see? He had something over his head and little and mouth. I'm not kidding, I'm so freaked out, so am I. Xana was wearing all black. No, it's like a ski mask. I'm really confused. And then they try and call Kaylee. Anyway, I'm going to go back now to watching Meghan because that's the stuff that is going to give you a big laugh. There was one part I did laugh. Well, actually, if they file this under comedy, parody, comedy, I don't know. There's one part where she's trying to look shocked and then she didn't want to, and her head literally wobbles. And I played it again. I thought, my God, nobody's spotted that yet. Nobody's spotted that she's eating Prince Charles's buttonholes. But, you know, it'll all come out. There's plenty of fodder. There's so much stuff in these 8 programmes, 8 episodes. I quite like Roy Choi. Is it Roy Choi? And I felt a bit sorry for Mindy Kaling. My Welsh accent, people often say, is quite similar to the Indian accent. You know, when they do like that. Well, Mindy is apparently Indian. She said, I like your luck. Tell me about your luck. And Meghan couldn't understand her. And then she had this surreptitious smirk on her chops, and as she was going in the fridge, like laughing to herself, like Mindy was a noble. Oh, it was horrible. It was horrible. And poor little Daniel Martin, the hairdresser, I think he was quivering from the moment he came in till the moment he went. Apparently, I heard that nobody got paid, that they just all did it for nothing, all her guests. But I expect she let them keep the goodie bag she did for all of them. There was nothing. And another thing I found. There we go. Martha Stewart, and this was she updated it in February 2025, February the 5th. The original and the best 1-pan pasta. That's what Meghan tried to cook in hers. And that's the recipe. And it's exactly the same. Try our other 1-pan pastas. There was broccoli and lemon, zucchini and parmesan, broccoli, rab and bacon, chickpea and olives, mac and cheese. So she's obviously got the recipe from Martha Stewart's webpage. But are we shocked? Are we surprised? No. Anyway, rest in peace, Gene Hackman and Betsy Hackman. And I will be back when I've got more to report on Meghan Markle. And it was lovely, Fiona's funeral yesterday. 3,500 people attended the online ceremony. Fiona did a live tonight and she was so happy. And I know that Graham, she said, would be happy as well. I think at the moment, I don't think it's hit Fiona yet, or the children. But if it is hitting her, and she's coping admirably, because it knocked me for 6. I don't know if you know, but I closed my WhatsApp down a couple of months ago. Sometimes I just get so overwhelmed with stuff. I just have to cut one off. And I went to open my WhatsApp today because I was going to get in touch with Annie and Sandy and a few people that are on my WhatsApp. And I noticed that there was quite a few messages from Graham that I hadn't opened. So I that was it. It set me off again. I had to shut the page. I'm still not back on WhatsApp. But I've told Fiona I'll do whatever she wants me to do. I'll send them to her if she wants them. It was just, I go through funny stages where I just run away and hide. Anyway, I'll speak to you soon, and thank you so much for being with me. And yeah, I'll see you soon. Cheerio! Oh, hang on, I got to get in the right position for cheerio!